What's up, everybody? This is Pete from Pete Says Podcast, and I'm so glad that you're here joining me. This is the ground level. What this podcast is about is helping creatives find their way. What that means is to be a creative can be a little difficult when you are around a lot of people that are not creative, and that can cause isolation and kind of losing focus of who you are, and so that's going to lead us into a lot of different areas. I want to be able to bring in things that I enjoy, that I get maybe inspiration from, or a way that I escape and helps me keep track of who I really am. Life has so many fun adventures that you can take part in, or you can kind of just sit around and just be that kind of bump on a log kind of guy that I see a lot of men becoming, and they think that a real man doesn't show emotions, doesn't have any excitement, and their hobbies can only be football or golf or something like that. And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case, that you can be the person that you are, and by doing that you are going to bring something different to the world than trying to be like everybody else. And I'm hoping to bring things in general, attitudes, mindsets, ways of thinking that anybody can take hold of and use. And so again, this is really to help you find your way as a creative. I am a father, I'm a husband. I just started my business a couple years ago when I lost my job. And they decided to basically just at the end of the day, right after my son was born, they didn't let us know, and all of a sudden I'm without a job. And so it's one of those things that you have to look at, and I did make a video about it that you can check out, that I might put a link in somewhere, kind of going over more detail and things like that. But in any case, you have to be able to look at who you are, and that's going to help you when things get tough and get rocky, or things aren't happening the way that you thought they would. And that kind of was a big dose of reality, and there was a choice of, do I want to do what everybody else thinks I should and what looks good on the outside, or should I embrace myself for the first time, really, and become who I wanted to be? And it has been difficult. I've learned a whole lot of my inadequacies, but I've also been able to see a lot of my strengths. And again, self-reflection is something that a lot of men don't do or think they shouldn't do. And I'm here to tell you that when you do that, when you self-reflect and you look at who you are and what can be changed, you can become a better person. So I liken it to weightlifting. If I want to have bigger muscles and be in better shape, I actually have to do something. I have to go beyond just thinking about it, which is a good first step. But I actually have to go to the gym or get weights from my house or whatever, and I have to engage in movement and go somewhere different than where I've been going, and doing different things than I've been doing before. And that is kind of how I look at self-reflection. It's not always easy or fun, but in the same way, sometimes weightlifting isn't always fun either, but that the result is going to be better than you are right now. And that's that great part of self-reflection. If you can become a better version of yourself, why not? Now, this isn't some guru thing or something like that I'm trying to get into. I'm just simply saying you have to first know who you are before you continue on your journey, because I found as a creative person, I didn't always fit in, and I can be alone in a crowd, that kind of feeling. And that can cause you to lose yourself, because you say, well, look at these people are having a great time. It's easy for them. Let me do what they do. Well, that's not who you are. The world needs you to be fully yourself. And in order to be fully yourself, you need to know who you are. You see what I'm saying? And so you can be like, yeah, I am creative. Hey, I could do that. And being open and vulnerable with your art. I used to think, I used to write poetry a lot, songs and drawings and stuff like that. And I hid it because I thought, and I played sports. You can't be both. You had certain things that you did and didn't do. And so being involved in sports meant that I can't write or draw or be into poetry or something like that. That's simply not the case. So let's jump over. I'm going to be going again off of a basis of just myself. And if you've never checked out the Enneagram, I would encourage you to do so and kind of use that maybe as a basis. I pair it up with the Bible, and I use both to get a sense of who I am. Obviously, the Bible is going to be giving me the ultimate truth. Then from there, I can use personality tests and things like that to kind of find my way and navigate who I am. Because I said the word Bible, some of you might be tuning out. I encourage you to stick through this, because let's get beyond all these issues, and let's get to the root of the problems or the issues in our life, so that we can kind of take a look at all this together. I'm just going to be reading it off. This is from Psychology Junkie, and I get her emails. They just give some like different things for me just to think about, and keeping it back in my mind that it's okay to be myself, basically. I am a number on the Enneagram test, so I'm a 4, okay? So the 4 is labeled as, in this particular case, the individualist. Intense, creative artist who works with tangible objects or intangible ideas to find meaning and discovery in themselves and in nature or the environment, I would say. 4s believe in creation over consumption and will put up a fight against anyone who tries to convince them otherwise. They experiment with different ideologies, philosophies, and modalities to form a meaningful melange of living. Seriously, I should have pre-read this and figured out the words, but oh well. Whimsical and free-spirited, 4s march to the beat of their own drums and passionately follow their deeply held inner values. They believe in writing their own life stories and trekking down paths alone. While this is easier said than done, 4s typically put up with a lot of fear instilled from teachers, peers, or authority figures from a young age who tell them to take the safe route and squash their dreams. Whew, man, that just kind of like reading that just ignites in me the fact of how important it is to know yourself. If I get my identity from someone else or what someone else believes or thinks I should do, I immediately become a lesser Peter. Do not put up with not a fighting, angry, hate-filled rebellion, but rebel against the misunderstanding of who you are. Part of our journey is to help other people who don't understand how we think and feel and who we are, because we are, I've heard 1% or 3% of the entire world. Imagine how small of a number that is. There's billions, trillions of people. But when you look at overall, how small of a number that is. So how important you are to the people around you. They simply don't understand. And I used to think it was I don't want to understand, or you're not important. I think I'm starting to figure out that they just don't understand. Most people cannot deal with intangible things. They have to see it, they have to feel it, and it has to have the outcome that they want it to have, or it's not worth their time. I don't think like that. It doesn't mean that I'm pursuing or I want to pursue things that just have no value. They have a value to me. I put a value on that thing. I put a value on my art. But I also have to know that someone else may not do that. And I can't take it personally. I have to help them understand me. Reading that, I'm like, oh man, that's because I dealt with that when I was younger. Teachers not understanding. They would say, oh, write a 1-page essay, and I wrote like a 4-page or like a 20-page book, and they got mad. That's too much. And I was like, you said write. I heard write. Yeah, 1 page, because you don't want to read something. That's why you said 1 page. But if I got 20 pages, should I hold back? No. That's me. You know what I mean? Sensitive, I'm just going to go back and read a little bit more. Sensitive and attuned to peak experiences, 4s can feel like aimless wanderers, searching for the meaning behind their existence, especially during adolescence. They find great joy when they're able to tap into the flow state, when time melts away and hours feel like minutes. By late adulthood, fours typically gain more holistic sense of their true identity and are able to find their place in or out of society. And I think that's true. The older I get, the more I'm like, wow, I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to go against the flow. I'm meant to be that different person. It's not the reason for the hair. I dyed my hair. It's starting to lose it now, but it was like a really dark teal. Why did I do that? To stand out, to show people how different I am? No, it's because I was like, hey, that looks awesome. I want to do it. So I did it. If I get something in my mind, I want to do it. Again, this is not to say that I'm the voice of everybody, or I am the ultimate have the ultimate understanding of being someone who's artistic or creative, but I think that we have to have a voice and a direction of who we are and how we deal with things, because it's hard for us to come out of the shell and share in the same way that someone who is maybe very systematic or has less feelings and less emotions. It might be easier for someone like that to have a podcast or do vlogging or something, and because they're not really dealing with the emotions behind things. And for you and I, we have a lot of deep-seated passion and things like that in everything we do. I do it or I don't do it, and that's hard. I'm finding that you can't always be that. Sometimes you have to just do something and do it good, and that's okay. But it does go against how I'm made to be fully invested in who I am and what I'm doing. And it doesn't mean that I'm better than someone else. It just means that I've put everything I am into that project or that person or something like that. Being a father and a husband, I am fully dedicated to those things, but I don't always do it the best. I have to learn and I have to adjust, but it is a huge focus of my life, and it doesn't take away who I am. It's an amazing title and honor to be a husband and a father. So if you're older and you do have kids and stuff like that, you gotta know that it's okay to continue being creative and not see those titles as taking you away from who you really are. I don't always want to do deep stuff and everything, but I thought it would just be nice to kind of say, you're seen, you're important, you're valued, your art is important, and you need to keep doing it. Who you are, how you feel is important and valued. You are not strange. The world needs you to be fully yourself. God made you important. God made you to be here. That is why you are alive. You are so valued that God, who made everything, made you as well, and made you like no one else. That means that no one else can fill the spot that you have in the whole entire world. There's other creative people. There's other people that paint and draw and sing and dance and have businesses and all that stuff, but they are not you. You have to wrap your mind around that, about how important you are. You have to be able to love yourself and who you are and change if you need to. I used to have a hard heart against people who weren't creative and thought that I was above them. It can't be the case, because then we can't be vulnerable with them, because we're going to see them as the enemy and attacking us for being different. They don't understand. That's helping creatives find their way. That is the reason for this podcast, that you have a tribe. You now are part of other people that are just like you. And hopefully we can maybe create like a Facebook group and all that stuff. Thank you for tuning in to Pete Says Podcast. I want to leave you with this: stay creative. It's that important. All right, check you later on the next episode.